President Barry Jagdeo says there is no point in seeking a post-Kyoto Protocol agreement in Copenhagen unless deforestation is taken into account.
Agriculture Minister Robert Prasad says Guyana's decision to import sugar will save GuySuCo some $2.7 million.
And opposition leader Robert Corbyn is now ready to consider government's proposed nominees for the Integrity Commission.
The details of these and other stories, and of course the Diamond Mineral Water and NCM Sport News. Hello, good evening, I am Janelle Prasad.
And I'm Paul Moore.
With this edition of the 6 o'clock news for today, Friday, January 30th, 2009. Here's what's happening. Paul?
Thanks, Janelle. A technical team is to meet the Haitian government to address how CARICOM could assist in that country's recovery efforts from recent hurricanes. The decision was made at the conclusion of the recently held 13th meeting of the Council for Finance and Planning, held yesterday in Barbados. The meeting also agreed to have a technical team finalizing an agreement on a CARICOM investment code who would report to a special meeting of the Council slated for March. That meeting plans to address issues related to the proposed financial services agreement and receive a report from a task force designated to develop regional strategies to cushion the effects of the global financial crisis on the community. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Edwin Carrington says the decision dovetailed with similar plans by the Secretariat. CARICOM countries have rendered financial and material assistance to Haiti in the immediate aftermath of the storms. This latest initiative would look at the more long-term reconstruction. Agriculture Minister Robert Prasad says it is unfortunate that GuySuCo has to resort to importing sugar, but he notes that this decision will save the company millions of dollars. More in this report.
Agriculture Minister Robert Prasad says GuySuCo's decision to import sugar is a temporary and precautionary move to guarantee local supplies and export requirements. The corporation will initially import 2,000 tons of sugar at a cost of about $394 per metric ton.
When we export our sugar to Europe, we get close to $650 per metric ton. So they thought it made much sense, economic sense, to import it cheap, satisfy the local market, and export what we have on Europe so as the company's financial situation can be improved.
Given GuySuCo's precarious financial situation, Minister Prasad believes that this is a positive step since it will save the company some $2.7 million. While this is not the first time that the Sugar Corporation has had to import sugar, Minister Prasad says he does not want this to be prolonged.
I've spoken to the new chairman of the board and asked that as much as possible this practice be minimized. That is the decision to import, and he assured me that based on the interventions being planned by the new board and some of the changes within management, especially the focus on production and other issues, they do expect that this will be temporary.
GuySuCo suffered setbacks in December as a result of the heavy rainfall which destroyed some cane fields and delayed the second crop. The corporation is hoping to churn out some 290,000 tons of cane this year. However, Minister Prasad says weather conditions will have to be considered. Reporting for the 6 o'clock news, I'm Charlotte Lal.
President Barry Jagdeo says there is no point in seeking a post-Kyoto Protocol agreement in Copenhagen unless deforestation is taken into account. The President made this comment in an address to the Global Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Here's that report.
President Jagdeo highlighted issues of dealing with land rights and reducing the destruction of forests at a reasonable cost, yet with economic incentive as of the ways to tackle this problem. He noted that deforestation is not a result of ignorance, but because of rational economic reasons, such as clearing land for agriculture and producing lumber. He explained that halting deforestation is not just about trees, but one needs to look at the outside, notably the impact of agriculture, mining, or fuel sources of forests. Emission reduction must be real and measurable, and the potential financial resources for reducing deforestation must also be explored. Mr. Jagdeo stressed that all players must get involved in supporting the need to use forest in a sustainable manner, and for those involved with the Amazon, the goal is zero deforestation. During the discussion under the theme Climate Justice, Basis of a New Global Solidarity, Jagdeo and other world leaders have agreed that people must be made more aware of climate change and the impact of deforestation. These include changes in philosophy and providing economic value for trees coupled with the right incentive to encouraging protection. Such incentives, the leaders said, could include compensation, taxation, and better enforcement. However, the design for effective solutions should be hammered out prior to Copenhagen. Meanwhile, former U.S. Vice President and climate change lobbyist Al Gore said time is running out and that a global agreement on tackling climate change is needed this year. He added that the new U.S. administration is very serious about the issue and is ready to assume a leadership role. Prime Minister of Denmark, Anders Fogh Rasmussen, said it was essential to encourage heads of state in the process and have them commit their countries to reducing current levels of carbon dioxide emission. He stressed that targets, adequate funds, and a transparent verification scheme are needed for countries to reach long-term goals. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
Opposition leader Robert Corbyn says he's ready to consider government's proposed nominees for the Integrity Commission. President Bharat Jagdeo earlier this week said efforts are being made to resuscitate the commission to eliminate any excuses by those required to declare their assets. Details from Monica Jones.
Acting President Samuel Hines has submitted names of proposed members of the Integrity Commission to opposition leader Robert Corbyn, who has said the current commission is illegal. At a media conference today, opposition leader Robert Corbyn said he will examine the nominees and consult with other opposition party leaders.
But I am prepared as leader of the opposition to deal with those nominees that have been proffered. I have asked for certain particulars to enable me to exercise proper judgment and enable me to consult with other opposition parties so that I can give an informed response to the nominees that have been put forward for both the chairman of the Integrity Commission and another member.
Meanwhile, despite the opposition's question as to the legality of the Commission of Integrity, statements on claims have already been submitted. This the opposition leader has not denied.
And as far as I'm aware, only one member of the PNCR, member of Parliament, who was not aware of all the decisions, last year submitted one return.
The notion of members of Parliament to declare their assets came after a call issued by the PNCR for a forensic audit of public officials and business people following the Fidelity Investment Custom Polar Bear scam. President Bharat Jagdeo had argued, however, that if the composition of the commission was questionable, there exists a secretariat to which submissions can be made. Monica Jones, the 6 o'clock news.